Hey guys, welcome to or back to my booktube channel. Today I'm going to go over everything that I read in the month of March. Starting off, I read Fable for the End of the World by Ava Reid. This is marketed as a sapphic Hunger Games, and for the most part I generally kind of agree with that. It definitely has elements of being similar to Hunger Games in the sense that there is sort of like an arena survival element to it. Overall, I did enjoy this book. I found myself just kind of not being able to put it down, and I read it very quickly. I did think that it was very insta-love and that it ended up almost taking away from the sort of drama and survival element of the book. I also thought the world building was lacking just a little bit in the sense that I wanted to know even more about the world. I wanted to expand upon just the small world, but the small world view that we get to see, and I wanted to know more about the history of the world and sort of how they ended up to where they are today in this book. You get a little bit of that, but it's very brief and it happens very quickly, and I just felt myself wanting to know more about the world. I thought that was the most interesting thing about this book, and for that I kind of wish that there was a second book coming on this. I'm not sure that there is. It felt very standalone in my opinion. I felt like that was my biggest gripe with this, is that I wanted more from the world building. I did end up giving it 4 stars because I did enjoy it. If you are a fan of dystopian books or you enjoy the Hunger Games, I think you would enjoy this. Now, along the lines of the Hunger Games, I did also read the new Hunger Games book, Sunrise on the Reaping, and this was very, very good. I gave this 5 stars. It really felt like Suzanne Collins captured a lot of feelings that I currently have about the state of the world and put them in this book and wrote it down on the pages. I enjoyed the way that this built upon all the previous other books in the Hunger Games series. Because this is about Haymitch's games, the way that it ties into Catching Fire was just so interesting, and I would be very fascinated to go back and now reread Catching Fire knowing what I know now from this book. It was heartbreaking, heartwarming, and heart-wrenching all at the same time. The epilogue completely undid me and had me in tears when I read it. It's a very, very good book. And if you like the movie Hunger Games, if you like the book series, if you aren't even a fan of this genre, this book is just that good that I highly recommend reading it. I also would recommend reading the other Hunger Games books first before reading this one. I feel like you'll get a lot more out of it, and you will understand things a lot better when you read this. I did read Abby Jimenez's new novella, The Fall Risk. I gave it 3 stars. I thought it was just okay. That's kind of generally how I feel about novellas, is that they're just kind of okay. They're not really long enough to flush out, you know, really well-rounded characters with really that, you know, sort of overcome things, and there's like not enough time to sort of have a conflict and resolve it. And that's how I felt about this one. But it was Abby Jimenez and I like her writing, so I just needed something quick one night to read, and I read it, and that was it. It's not something that's gonna stick in my brain forever. I then read Wooing the Witch Queen, which, as you can see, it's a pretty short, quick read. But this is a romantasy, and I thought it was a lot of fun. Like, I had just the most fun time reading it. I gave it 4 stars. It was not very high stakes. I would say this is more like a cozy fantasy than, you know, an epic fantasy. It was sort of just like casual, low stakes, but I really enjoyed this. I had a really fun time. I loved our main female character. I loved that she was the powerful magical being rather than, you know, what you see a lot of times in the romantasy genre right now, where you have the powerful male shadow daddy. It was a nice change of pace to have a powerful female character as our lead, powerful magical female character as our lead, rather than just a immortal teenager. It was just a lot of fun, and if you are like a cozy fantasy or a romantasy enjoyer, I would recommend it. I really would recommend it. And then I'm gonna speed through these real quick. I did do both Heir of Fire and The Assassin's Blade this month as part of my Throne of Glass reread this year. Heir of Fire when I went back to log this, I noticed that the first time I read it 3 years ago, I gave it 3 stars, which was insane to me. This was a 5-star read for me the second time around, and like I had a little bit of a book hangover after reading this again for the second time. And then I did read The Assassin's Blade after Heir of Fire. Again, same thing like with my thoughts on The Fall Risk. When it comes to novellas, I think that they're just okay, and same thing with this. Even though it's Throne of Glass, and I do really love that series, and I love Selena and Aelin and all those characters, I did not enjoy it as much as Heir of Fire or Crown of Midnight, so I did keep this at a 3-star rating. I will say I did also kind of only read like halfway through the final novella because I have read this before, I know what happens, and I was okay just kind of glazing over it because I had just finished Sunrise on the Reaping and I was not emotionally prepared to deal with the ending of the final novella of Assassin's Blade. But that's okay, I'm counting it as finished. And then the last book that I finished in March was Upon a Starlit Tide. This is my Owl Crate edition and it's very beautiful with the foiling. This is a cross between Cinderella and The Little Mermaid. Again, it's part of the like fantasy romance genre, but like it has romantic elements to it, but it's definitely like a fantasy storybook retelling. And this was another one that pleasantly surprised me. I thought, you know, at first it was just gonna be like a little bit silly, but as the book continued on, like it really had me on my toes, and just when I sort of thought I knew where it was going, another piece to the puzzle got revealed and I was kind of like, oh wow, like that surprised me a little bit. So this ended up being a 4.5-star read for me, and it was just fun reading about mermaids too. And it takes place in France, and I love France and I love mermaids, and so this was sort of like a perfect mix between both of those things for me. And although it doesn't take place in the Caribbean, like I was listening to parts of it on the audiobook and it was kind of giving Pirates of the Caribbean a little bit too, which I enjoyed, and yeah, I just thoroughly enjoyed this, and I do highly recommend it. I did also read The Au Pair Affair. I checked that out from my local library as just a fun Tessa Bailey novel. It's Tessa Bailey. I generally enjoy her writing, and while I did enjoy it, I ended up giving it like 2.5, 3 stars. I'm kind of waffling back and forth on it because I really did not enjoy the third act breakup. Really did not enjoy it at all. I thought the things the main male character said to our female character in order to that sort of sparked the breakup was really crappy, and he really used her trauma against her. You know, she finally decided to trust him and open up to him and tell him about the trauma that she had faced from her past, and he, you know, in the crappy situation that he was dealing with, decided that he was gonna take it and throw it back in her face. And the man was almost 40 years old. He's a fully grown adult. He has a 10-year-old daughter in the book. Like, it was not the way an almost 40-year-old man should be acting. And frankly, I thought she deserved a lot better after that. And I was mad that they got back together, and I wish that they hadn't. So that third act breakup kind of ruined it for me. I was really interested in reading the next book in that series, Dream Girl Drama, so I felt like I kind of needed to read The Au Pair Affair, even though I knew it probably wasn't for me, considering it was an age gap romance, which just isn't generally my thing. But yeah, that was everything I read this month in March. I thought generally it was a really good month, and I enjoyed a majority of the books that I read this month. I think off the top of my head for April, I think right now off the top of my head, the 2 big books for April for me would be the new Abby Jimenez book and the new Emily Henry book. And then I did want to read Dream Girl Drama as well by Tessa Bailey. And Olivia Blake has a new book out as well that would be on my TBR. I think at least 3 of those 4 should be doable. I like kind of have to be in the right mood for Olivia Blake's books. But the Abby Jimenez, the Emily Henry, and the Tessa Bailey book should all be pretty doable. That's it for today. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!